When we went back to the abandoned school at night, I thought door 207 was just a creepy room. I thought it was just one part of one building. But after I started looking through the photos from all my abandoned place videos, I noticed something. 207 was only in that school, it was everywhere. So this video is a little different. I'm not exploring a new place in this one. At least, not at first. It started because I was going back through the pictures from the abandoned place videos I already made. I was organizing them, picking thumbnails, checking which ones looked the creepiest, and trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And that's when I noticed something I somehow missed before. The same number kept showing up, 207. At first, I thought it only came from the abandoned school. But then I went back to the first video. That was when that was where I went to the abandoned building at night by myself. I remembered the hallway. I remember I remembered the breathing sound I thought I heard. But there was one picture I never looked at closely. It was near the entrance, on the wall, almost hidden in the grime. When I zoomed in, there was a number, 207. Then I checked the daytime video. That was when that was the one where I thought nothing really happened until I got home and looked through the photos. That video already had weird things in it. A shape in the window, something in the mirror, a door that looked from one photo to the next. But in one of the hallway photos, there was a piece of paper on the floor. I had ignored it because it just looked like trash. But when I zoomed in, I could see part of a number written on it. 07. Then I checked the video where I brought my friend during the day. And that's where it started feeling less like coincidence. There was a classroom photo where my friend was standing near the chalkboard. At the time, the scary part was the dark shape behind him. But on the chalkboard, almost completely faded, there was writing. It looked like old lesson notes at first, but near the corner, someone had written the same number, 207. My friend didn't notice it. I didn't notice it, but it was there. And then there was the night video, door 207. That was the most obvious one. That was the one we actually reacted to while we were there. That was the room where my friend said he saw someone inside. And when I took the picture, there was a figure standing in the darkness. At the time, I thought door 207 was the center of that building. But now I'm starting to think that it was just the first time I finally noticed the pattern. Then I noticed something else. It wasn't just the number, there was also a symbol. It looked like a rough circle with a line through it. Not a perfect symbol, more like something scratched by hand. I found it near door 207. Then I went through the older photos and found it again. On the wall, on the desk, in the bathroom mirror, near the entrance of the first building. It was never the main thing in the photo. It was always in the background, like it was waiting for me to notice. So now I had things showing up across multiple places. 207 and that symbol. I started making a folder of every photo where I could find either one. At first, I thought maybe I was reaching. Maybe I was seeing patterns because I wanted there to be one. But the more I looked, the harder it was to ignore. Different buildings, different days, Different rooms, same clue. Let me ask a question I didn't really want to ask. What if these abandoned places weren't random? What if they all felt similar wasn't just because they were old and empty? What if something connected them? And what if whatever was in those photos wasn't following me from building to building? What if I kept walking into places where it already was? I decided I needed to find out more. I started looking into the places I had visited, not the exact addresses, because I'm not putting that out there, but the history, what they used to be, who owned them, why they were abandoned. And that's when the whole thing got worse, because I found a name, and that name connected more than just one building.